Going to be starting a new series here. It's going to be like a podcast, but not an actual podcast. Goal of this is I'm going to be playing a lot of 18-hole rounds during the off season. I live in the Northeast where it's cold and we get snow, so I'm not always able to go outside and play. And during these winter months when I'm hitting the simulator, I'm going to record the 18 holes like you'll see here. In this video I'm playing Coeur D Alene Resort. And during the 18-hole video, I'm just going to kind of talk about some different things. In this first episode, I'm going to be talking about the series that I have coming up for 2026 and some challenges that I have. So one of the series that I've already started kind of posting videos for on TikTok and YouTube Shorts is the Going Scratch series. Everything that I do is going to be part of the overarching Going Scratch series. I'm currently sitting at about a 28 handicap. That's from about 2 years ago when I last tracked my handicap. I would assume I'm a little bit lower of a handicap now. I consistently shoot, I would say, around 95 to 100, where a couple years ago I was consistently 105. The goal of the series is to try to get to scratch as quick as possible, and just kind of filming that progress and the process and what it takes to kind of do that. The practicing that I'll be doing, rounds, hitting simulators. I'll probably end up getting a lesson here or there in the future just to kind of work on my swing and get a little more consistent. So those are just some of the things that I'll be doing. Another series I have is the 5-for-7 series. I started that a few years ago and then kind of stopped. That series is a local golf course offers in the evenings with an hour and a half before sundown. They offer you to play the first 5 holes of the course for $7. And it consists of 3 par 4s and 2 par 3s. And my goal of that series is going to be just to try to shoot even par or better. At first it's going to be to shoot even par, and then after that I'm going to try to actually shoot under par. The course is very scoreable, and hopefully the conditions of the course are much better this year. About 2 years ago the course conditions were awful, and they've gotten better each year, so hopefully that continues again this year. Again, with the weather, I'm going to try to start that series as soon as possible, but when there's snow or we get rain or if it's too cold outside, I'm not going to go outside and play the 5-for-7, but that's something that I'm going to consistently be playing in the spring when that comes around. Another thing I'm doing every day, again during the winter while I'm inside, is I have a putting mat, and I'm going to be taking 25 putts a day, and that flows into my challenge that I'm going to be doing that I'm going to be posting on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts. And I probably will have some of those videos out by the time this episode drops. I'm filming this before Christmas in 2025, but I'm going to try to get a handful of these recorded and lined up, and I'm going to start dropping these videos. Probably try it on a weekly basis starting in 2026. January 2026 specifically. The putting challenge that I have is going to be making 25 8-foot putts in a row. And however many days it takes me to do it, I'm going to give away that amount in a gift card. I'm going to do one giveaway for YouTube, and I'm going to do one giveaway for TikTok. So if it takes me 50 days, that's going to be a $50 gift card that I give to someone on TikTok and $50 for someone on YouTube. And in those videos, I'll have the rules and how to kind of qualify for the I guess the prize or the giveaway challenge that I'll be doing there. So, and the final thing that I'm going to be doing here is this podcast series. These are specific things I'm going to be doing during the winter here. Again, I'm not really sure what I'm going to call this. It's not going to be a podcast. I'll be touching on some shots that I have. It's like right here, I am currently on hole 3, and I think I put this one, if I remember correctly, to about like 11 feet. Put a good swing on it. Anytime I can get anywhere near the hole on a par 3, specifically anytime I can get on the green, I take that as a huge win with my current skill set. So I'm going to be doing this podcast-like series. And then I'm going to try to play a lot of new courses this summer, specifically in, I would say, the Northeast tri-state area. Not to be too specific, but I'm going to try to play some high-rated golf courses that I can find. And I think those would be cool to get out there and play, as well as just playing my local municipal courses that are in the general area. But it's kind of just an overview of what the series is going to be like. If you would like to follow along, please like and subscribe. I would appreciate the support. And this is something that is going to be good because I'm talking. It could be while you're working, you can kind of throw this on the side and just listen. I do want this to be interactive, so in the comments, definitely leave comments and thoughts, and I'll be interacting with people in the comments down below. And I'll bring up some of those topics that are discussed in the comments during another episode of this. So just to kind of start, briefly addressed where I'm at. Currently about a 28 handicap, probably a little lower. I would say the biggest struggles right now with my game are my driver and putting. I struggle with pace of putting. I tend to leave a lot of putts short. I hear a lot of people say like, oh, get a mallet putter or get a weighted putter to work on not leaving the putt short. I think I just need to work on confidence. We're not playing Augusta. I'm not playing at Oakmont. I'm not playing Pebble Beach. I'm playing a local municipal course. The greens are not rolling or breaking as much as I would think they would if I was playing on a higher level course. That doesn't mean that there's not nice municipal courses out there that have good greens that are rolling really pure. It's just most of the times on the courses I'm playing, that's not going to be the case. And I just need to confidently hit the putts. Driver, where my struggles come in, is one, distance. I tend to hit a very spinny drive, and I've been tweaking that. A couple years ago, I took the driver out of my bag completely. I just couldn't hit it and would only hit a hybrid off the tee. And I felt very good with that. But if I want to really improve my game, I need to get better hitting the driver. So any tips on driver hitting, besides like put it in the front of your stance or, tilt your shoulders back a little bit, I'm all ears because I want to hear any idea that anyone might have. But with that said, the driver distance and at times accuracy. I feel like my accuracy has improved drastically since I've stopped trying to swing out of my shoes. But with that now, I'm sacrificing a lot of distance. There'll be times where I hit a drive 180, 200 yards. There'll be other times I put it out there about 250. I've put some effort into it so far during the times of the simulators, and I'll be posting those videos as TikToks and shorts later. And I'm not really focusing on like speed. I'm focusing on like the smash factor with these simulators. They give you a bunch of metrics. And the big metric that I want to focus on the most is the smash factor, which very simply put is the club head speed to the ball speed. So if you swing the club head at 80 miles an hour and your ball goes 120, that's a 1.5 smash factor. The goal is to have a smash factor higher than 1.35. It means that you're compressing the ball and it's jumping off the club face, which is what we're looking for. Once I kind of get that down and feel more comfortable and make progress in that area, I will start to pick up the speed at which I'm swinging. So right now in a lot of these videos you're going to see I'm not like swinging out of my shoes. I'm trying to swing smooth, controlled, and comfortably to make sure that I'm making solid and consistent contact with the ball. I also tend to have a slice with my drive, and it's kind of turned more into a fade as time goes on. I still tend to really like flare one out there to the right, but for the most part I'm not doing that as much as I used to. So I've definitely made progress in that area. With the consistency, it's not just with like the driving and the putting. I feel like I can string sets of holes together really well. I can play, like I started around this past summer. I think it was like the third round I played in the summer, and I didn't play a whole ton in 2024, just a lot going on in life. And I was 3 over through 7, which was by far the best start to a round I've ever had. I ended up finishing that round at like shooting 102. I just completely blew up on the back half. Just chips weren't going the way I wanted to. Putting stopped. Like I just stopped rolling the ball well. Couldn't keep the ball in play or wasn't getting distance, topping shots. And everyone always jokes that like the difference between the average golfer and a tour pro is consistency. And if you hit your best shot every time consistently, there's no difference between like you and a Scotty Scheffler. I mean, obviously there still is. It's just a saying. But if you could pure the ball every single time, that would drastically increase your scores. So one of my initial goals of this challenge is to string together, or to not string together, multiple bad holes in a row. And that goes back to what kind of what I was just touching on with the consistency aspect. If I have a couple good holes in a row and then I have a blow up hole, try to see if I can rebound from that. Focus on just swing thoughts, getting back into the right mind of, keep your head down, smooth contact, smooth swing, and trying to rebound quickly after putting up some big scores. Another goal with that is going to be to try to set a limit, like no triples, and limiting myself in that area and trying to just maybe think of every hole as a par 5, for example, whether it's a par 3 or a par 5. The goal is to get on the green in 3 strokes and 2 putt every hole. Just kind of having a mindset like that, changing the way that I'm thinking in the approach. Hopefully that'll help increase my scores, or not increase, but hopefully help decrease my scores and increase my performance. One of the things with these podcast episodes is I pre-edit all the videos and then set a mic up, and I'm just trying to kind of talk naturally through this. This isn't going to be rehearsed, chopped, anything. I'm trying to keep it as natural and free-flowing as possible. So definitely going to take me some time to get used to talking into a mic, because it's not something I've ever done before. And trying to just stay on topic and not ramble, I guess is what I'll leave with there. So another area of my game is, actually I think I kind of touched on all the areas. I touched on the consistency aspect. I have some notes on the side. I touched on the putting issues I've had, driver distance and confidence with the driver in my hand, and just kind of always having one area of my game that struggles. I feel like if my driver's really on one day, I can't chip to save my life. Or if I'm chipping and putting really well around the green, my irons are just way off and it's going left, right, playing Army golf at that point. I don't have a consistent miss. It just seems like there's always some part of my game that lacks every round. And maybe that's just the mental side of it. Maybe it's just focusing on just going in there and slowing down, taking a sec, looking at the shot I have in front of me, and not rushing through it. You'll see in a lot of these videos, I tend not to take any practice swings. I don't know why, I just feel the most comfortable stepping up to the ball, standing over it, and just swinging. I don't like sitting there. Sometimes when I chip, close to the green, 10, 15 yards, 20 yards, I might do 1 or 2, small, just to kind of get not the clock, not Phil Mickelson, who's 10 to 10 swing, but kind of just get the idea of okay, I want to go back about this far and follow through about this far with this much pace. And it's kind of more of a feel shot at that point. But otherwise, I just tend to stand right over the ball, set my feet, line up the target, and swing. And I feel like just slowing down a little bit and taking a second to look at the course, look at where the lie is. Am I into the green? Am I in a divot? Am I fluffed up in the rough where it's going to jump out and be a flyer? I feel like just taking a second to analyze some of those areas will definitely increase my scores, or increase my scoring ability. Got to get used to not saying increasing scores, because I do not want to do that. So how I'm going to improve in these areas is, you're just going to see throughout the videos, the one thing with the putting, I feel like putting's 3 aspects. It's pace, break, and hitting it straight. You can know the break, know the pace, pick the line, so you're it's going to break 2 feet, and you got a 12-foot putt, so you're going to play it out a little bit, and you pick a spot, and you're I want to play it to that line. You can have all those things where if you hit that line perfectly, it's going to fall in the hole every time. But if you can't hit that putt straight over the line that you have in your head, you're going to struggle with that. Obviously, putting indoors, I don't have the luxury of having a real grass green to putt on. There's also no break. I'm putting in a hallway or in my living room, so everything's flat and it rolls fast, being that it's going to roll on it almost simulates rolling on concrete. It moves quick. So my goal is just, with the indoor putting series, is just to hit straight 8-foot putts. If I can hit a straight 8-foot putt and hit it not maybe center cup every time, but where it's not like lipping in, I know confidently that I could hit my line consistently on an 8-foot putt. And from there, I would just need to then focus on, well, how far out right or left do I have to play because of the break? Okay, what's the pace? Is it uphill? Is it a downhill putt? Is it flat? Is the greens rolling fast today? Are they slow? And kind of analyzing all those things from there. I'm not even going to get into the parts of like into the grain. Couldn't even tell you how to look at that or read it, and that's something that I'm so far from getting into, being that I'm about a 28 handicap. The goal is to start just to get it down to like 15 to 18, get to like the mid-teens, and putting alone is not going to help lower my score that much. It will definitely help, but not help that much. And then, as you're going to see in these videos where I'm recording, I think this was my first one, and I played really well, but I was making a lot of putts, and putting on the simulator is not easy. It's also not a perfect science because I don't think it's fully accurate. So what I'm focusing on here is just putting good swings together, making solid contact, and you'll kind of see like I said, I've already filmed about 7 of these. I've kind of changed my approach. I'll discuss that in those later videos when they are recorded, and I'm doing this podcast style over those videos. But I would say for irons and driver, my goal is just to have a very smooth, controlled looking swing. I don't want to look like a long driver where I'm swinging out of my shoes and trying to kill the ball. I want to look like an athlete, if that makes sense. I want to look just like smooth, comfortable, confident over the ball. And if you look at some of the better like ball strikers on tour, their swing almost looks effortless. They're not swinging the ball very fast, or they're not swinging the club very fast. They're typically, they look like they barely swing, and every time they just launch the ball. And that's kind of the goal of what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to look like I'm swinging real easy, real comfortable, but I'm hitting the ball solid and getting a lot of distance with those balls. As you can just see with that last shot on the screen, I ended up pulling the ball way left with one of these swing adjustments that I had done recently prior to filming this video. I started pull hooking a lot of shots, and this is a perfect example with these simulators. I ended up launching that into the bush, and I was trying to like re-hit in the fairway and take the strokes, but it wouldn't let me. Some of the issues with these simulators, sometimes you can kind of get stuck in the bush and then you can't get out, and it causes this whole issue. So luckily I was able to punch that last one out, but I've had several situations where I haven't been able to and had to take a mulligan. So some of these rounds I'll show at the end like my final stats. I think in this round I had like 2 mulligans, and they were both due to situations like that where it's like I wasn't sure if the thing was going to actually register the shot, so I just kind of like smacked the ball with like, say it was off the tee with my driver, but I would just sit there with the driver and just kind of hit the ball forward slightly just to see if it would actually advance the ball. And then once I confirmed that, I would mulligan it, re-hit from that terrible lie that I was in. So I do have clips of all that. I'm not sitting here and trying to cheat on a simulator. It's not worth that much effort. I'm not that good to be worrying about that at this moment. So I think kind of just the next part of this, again, these are just the original thoughts I have going into the season coming up, preparing for the season, and what I'm going to try to do. I think one of my other kind of areas where you hear a lot of people talk about it, don't hit the hero shot, course management. I feel like over time I've definitely gotten better at course management. I've taken my pill in a sense, and if you hit a bad shot, punch it back out into the fairway and take your medicine and then advance the ball further from there. I feel like at times I still try to get too aggressive with my punch outs, and it kind of can put me into more trouble and can rack those scores up. And part of the course management aspect that I have to focus on is I don't always have to take a driver off of every tee box. If I have a narrow fairway, say it's a 230-yard par 4, and it's very gettable, and you can get to the green in one, and you want that eagle putt, but it's a narrow fairway with trees down both sides, I would rather be 30 to 45 yards out with a wedge in my hand in the middle of the fairway than green side in the trees, because I tried to play the hero ball and launch the ball down there. Kind of touched on before about treating all holes as par 5s. I heard someone talk about that online recently. It's a pretty good idea, and I think I'm going to try to implement that a little bit more. And what it helps with is with the par 3s specifically and the par 4s. If you're looking to break 90, you just basically have to get a 5 on every hole. And that is one way to think about shooting 90. Like, that's shooting 90 exactly. So you obviously have to shoot a 4 on one hole. But 17 5s and 1 4 is an 89. And that is really the first step that I need to get to, is getting into the 80s. Finish around with an 8 in the beginning of that number. And once I do that, I think it's going to help with my confidence. But I think at the same time, I also need to focus on the fact that I'm not going to do that every time. I'm still not at that skill level. I can put together a perfect round, shoot like an 87, 88, and go out the next time and blow up and shoot over 100. And I just need to understand and not get frustrated, because I'm not trying to take it that seriously. I'm trying to have fun. The goal is to have fun with this and, to get better at the same time. It's a game that you can play as you age. It's a game that you can play with friends. It's a game that is consistently growing. And I don't need to be the best at it, but I would like to be better than I am now. I think one of the areas, I briefly mentioned it earlier about like taking my time before my shots. When I'm around the green and I'm chipping just off the green, or I'm putting, walking out my putts, walking out the green. Okay, if I'm 10 yards off the green, take a walk up, look at where the slopes are, look at where the ridges are on the green, try to figure out where I want to be and try to hit the ball there, rather than, again, just stepping up over the ball and hitting it and kind of just hoping it rolls the way you want it to. In that sense, I'm taking control of the ball around the green rather than just letting the course dictate what's going to happen, because I didn't take a second to look at it. And lining up my putts is a big thing. When the ball hits the green, every time, my goal is, when I'm playing outside, is I'm going to mark it, pick the ball up, clean it, place it, and then hit it. Right now, I just walk up and hit it. There could be mud on the ball, there could be whatever. Again, it's part of just being someone who hasn't really prioritized scoring. And it's a way that I can slow down, think a little bit, and really focus on every putt that I take. The final thing, just to kind of, some of the strategies I have going into this year that, again, I'll be implementing on the simulator. You'll hear me talk about it in some of the videos. Taking extra club. Swinging smooth and taking extra club. I would rather hit a 7 iron from 155 out, which is typically my 165 club, and not swing out of my shoes, knowing that if I hit it, it's still going to get there, and if I hit it perfectly, I'm just going to be a little long. Again, that situation varies. If there's like water long of the green, you'd rather be short, so you have to adjust that approach. But I need to prioritize getting the ball to the green and not leaving so many of my mid and long irons short. By doing that, getting to the green as quick as possible, and then focusing on putting, I should see those scores go down over time. So just to kind of wrap this up here, there's about 5 minutes left in the video. Just want to, again, if you're still here, I appreciate you staying this long and listening to me kind of ramble. And if you clicked off, obviously you're not going to hear this, but I appreciate any support that I'm given on kind of just growing this channel. think the goal of my channel here overall is I kind of tell people, like, I'm out playing. I'm already, like, I want to play a lot of golf. I'm already playing a lot, and I'm already out there doing these things. I'm already hitting the range after work. I'm already hitting balls in my living room. I'm already going out into the field near my house and practicing wedges. I'm doing all these things already. It's not hard for me to set a camera up behind me and film it, and it takes me 5 minutes to edit one of these videos and post it. It doesn't take much effort, and who knows, maybe something turns out of this in the long run, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not the biggest deal in the world to me. My goal is kind of just to track my journey here, and hopefully people are interested in following along. I have a couple ideas outside of kind of what I mentioned, just playing different golf courses in the area. There are several people that I follow on TikTok, not sure as much about YouTube, that are in and around the area that I live, that are also smaller creators in that, like, less than 5,000 followers on TikTok. My goal is kind of this off season is to reach out to some of them and try to collaborate with them. I think it'd be a good way to kind of, one, meet new people, interact with new people, go out and play with some different people, and it might be a fun thing. You never know, you might make a new friend out of it. And again, golf is a very social game as much as it is a competitive game, and as much as it is a fun game. I've played a lot of rounds by myself. I've played rounds where I'm in groups of 2 or 3 people, and I've played rounds where the courses let us go out because it's a slower day with 6 people at a tee time, and we just let people play through as they come up behind us. So there's a lot of options with golf. There's also the simulators. There's a bunch of things you can do. It's a way to get outside and do something active that's fun. And another part of this, because I'm going to track it this year, I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to try to play as many rounds as I can. I'm going to walk every single round that I play. I have a push cart, and I just clip the camera to the push cart and just roll up behind my shot. So it's very seamless to go shot to shot and record it. And I'm going to see how many steps that I take, like miles that I walk playing. I think it's a great way to get out into nice weather, and more than ever, I feel like in today's society, like, getting outside is just one of the healthiest things that you can do. And golf gives me an excuse to go out and do those things. It also gives me a great excuse to get together with friends and kind of hang out and have a good time. You can always have more casual rounds where you're having a couple drinks, or you could go out and try to play a little competitive round. There's a couple events that I'll be doing. I know that there's about 2 scramble tournaments I do, one with people I work with, and then one that I do through a friend of mine that's a foundation. I'm not probably going to record those just because it's going to be definitely not the work one, but the other one we'll have to see where I'm at that time. I believe that's like in July, and doing those types of events would be fun. I also think it'd be fun to try to get some of my friends more involved in this and going out and playing. I think that as a group we have a lot of great personalities, and it would be seamless to kind of film and just be natural and just go out and do this while we go out and play and have fun. But again, the ultimate goal of this is, outside of just improving my game, it's just to get outside, just to enjoy the weather, live life, and obviously, hopefully, just kind of blanking on here, but it's kind of like I would say it's a fun way to get outside and do something that is active and just healthy overall for you. So as you can see here, I just kind of hit the final putt, and anything inside of 6 feet is an auto gimme on this, so probably should have mentioned that earlier in the round. But I think I shot, like, let's see what I shot. I shot an 80. That is very unrealistic, I would say. That is what I could shoot, considering I was in a perfect lie, because I'm hitting off a turf mat. I have a perfect lie, flat lie, every time. I also made a ton of putts this round. This was probably more like an 85, 87 if some of those putts don't fall. So I appreciate everyone watching. Thanks, and hopefully see you for the next episode.